Hello, hello. Hey, Pressel. Mwahahaha. I don't think you need to be evil about it. Hey, Kavino. I'm not blurry. How's it going? Kavino, what's your stream schedule now? Did you stick to making YouTube videos? This is not meant to make you feel bad because I feel like the last times I asked, it made you feel bad because I'm literally leaving to the gym in 1 minute. That is good timing. I got 2 minutes last time from you, and now I get 1 minute. So I expect to get 30 seconds the next time out of you. And it'll just be like a Sonic the Hedgehog kind of greeting. You're too slow. Okay, so we are going to pick up where we left off, which was refactoring some of this stuff and getting this new UI to look good. And I think we can just start working on this stuff. Set button ability takes in a string and not a button. I think that's pointless. I should probably do this in separate commits. Like, what did we do yesterday? Let me start with that. You don't even notice it was here. Well, it's always enough time to still send a chat message. I didn't take it as to feel bad, but please do make me feel bad. All right, why haven't you been streaming on Netflix? That's what real game developers do. Been slacking so hard and that loop of remaking nonstop. Yeah, you know, there's a, oh God, what is that called? If I can find this. Oh, there was this little guide on creation. I had a creation guide. Put it out there. I wonder if I can find this. I think it would help a lot. Oh man, I don't know what to look for though. There was like a there's like a just put your art out there. Was it this? No. Man. All right, I'm gonna look for a little bit longer. Oh man. Chef Alden, thanks for the resub. Hey Xyletics, hey Matt. Happy 34 months. Take care, Pressel. Have a good time at the gym. They didn't reach out to you? Huh? Weird. No, they reached out to me. Have you heard of a little show called Stranger Things? I'm the one who coded that show. Just a tiny little indie show. Creativity guidelines. I don't know how to find this. It didn't use the word guidelines. There was some slightly unusual word that they used. Creating things, just put it out there and move on. I don't know. It was something like this. Yeah, I'm not gonna find this again. Man, it was pretty nice how it was worded. Yeah, I can't find it. Man. All right. Well, yeah, the general advice was what you saw me searching for, but it was a little bit more rigid than that. It was like make things for the sake of making things. Don't ever polish them. Don't make them look good. Just put them out there and move on to the next thing. And as an ethos, I think it's a little bit too much, but it still gets the point across. And I think it's a nice thing to remind oneself of. And I think with anything new, any new endeavors, there's this desire to like, okay, well, I want to not make the mistakes other people made. And it's like, just make some of those mistakes. If you're going to stick with it for long enough, you'll probably be happy that you tried. But yeah, I actually kind of want to get back into making YouTube videos myself. But it's hard to justify that time commitment because the way I look at everything I do, man, it's so hard to undo these buttons on like every shirt I have. The way I look at what I do is it accomplishing a goal of mine? And now finally, I think I'd be making these YouTube videos for fun. But originally it was like, well, I'm making them to market Skeleseller. I'm making them to try to grow the channel. So if they weren't marketing it and they weren't growing the channel, then it wasn't accomplishing a goal. God, I'm so warm. I started working out in the morning now, which means I go from being warm to taking a shower. I take warm showers, and then I'm like super hot right now. I should probably go turn on some air. What if you know you could do it better? I think this is where there's a realistic constraint here. It's like you could probably make an MMORPG as your next game, but how long would that take? And what would you forego by doing that? I'll twitch that. So I think it's the same thing with YouTube videos. You could spend a month and get the perfect YouTube video out there, but why? You'll probably naturally improve. I think with almost any hobby or endeavor that you do, there's, let's say, time, and let's say this is improvement. Your improvement is probably going to look like this most of the time. Not exactly like this, right? But something close to this where you're making pretty rapid improvements at first. If you never played tennis before and you start playing tennis, you're gonna go from not knowing tennis to being able to hit the ball, to being able to hit the ball better, to being able to serve, to whatever else. Like all that stuff's gonna happen in your first probably year. And then you'll start getting better and better, but not at the same rate you did originally. You have less and less to learn. So the way I look at it is you're probably in this section of YouTube video creation. So just kind of let it naturally rise just by making videos and seeing, oh, this worked or this didn't work. And yeah, that way too, you get more work out there. Hey, Cuttlefish. Oh, not that much fun. It should sound like fun. I'm hoping that it's fun. Okay, so I opened this to see what we had done, and we have this. So, right, we didn't get the generated perks working. I gotta make a new thing for that. I am gonna separate this into a couple of different tasks. So I guess let's get this ready for check-in, and then I'll work on the next bit of this. All right, so this looks fine. Texture filter changes. I'm cool with that. What was the final thing that did this? Oh yeah, I had it overridden in one place. Okay, all this looks good. I have something named Testeroni somewhere. I gotta fix that. Where is it? I think it might only be in code. Anchors got deleted. In what? New challenge run screen? That doesn't sound like a good thing. Where did it get deleted from? Meta perks tab container. Oh yeah, because it's not needed anymore. Right, okay, cool. All right, number of perks unlocked. This all looks fine. That looks fine. This should not be checked in this way. So we gotta comment all that back in. This looks good. This is good. I gotta come up with a better name for that stuff, but otherwise, I mean, it's working pretty well. This is fine for now. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of meta perks, I guess, that don't need to exist. Oh man. All right, let's make a cleanup section. I deleted a whole bunch of meta perks, but didn't remove them from the code base. And I just need to capture this commit message. So capture the commit or the SHA. Yeah, cannot forget that. But we're not quite there yet. This stuff's all looking fine, looking fine. This is the Testeroni tree, which needs to be renamed. And then this I can get rid of. The play sound thing I need to fix. Did I write that down already? Something about playing sounds. Hello? Where are you? I don't know, but I'm going to write it down. Fix play sound. There's a to-do item in there. Oh, there it is. Hey, Galaxy Inferno. So you recovered from the blurry affliction and returned to the crisp living. You know it. You know it. Yeah, I updated the firmware on my camera. I think it's working now. It went from, I wonder if there's like ZVE10 firmware history. It went from version 2 to 2.0.2. So it was like 2 minor versions, but somewhere they have it written what it does, and it said something like improves camera stability. If I click this, does it say? Yeah, improves the operational stability of the camera. Previous benefits, improves stability of transferring images, operational stability. The other operational stability. Fix an issue with this stuff, improves operational. Okay, so yeah, it sounds like they've had 3 changes that improve operational stability, which is presumably what's making this work now. Also, hey, Flare. All right, so I just got to rename this. And probably, no, this is fine. All right, so rename it. And then what's happening here? We're making an ability component with level 0 stuff. This needs to be changed to do. I should probably just do this now. What is this meta perks tab container? Let's go take a look. So we know how many perks you should have. And we get that inside the game too. So we can just do that there. I wonder if this should just return like get pool perks. There's a union with. What does union with take in? Just any IEnumerable? Okay, yeah. So we'll do that. We'll have this thing return which pool perks you can get. Public hash set ability ID get pool perks. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think we can do this a little bit more easily though. Just return game constants dot slice or perks to add to the pool dot slice. There is no slice. Take? Oh, take is what I want. Returns a specified number of contiguous elements from the start of the sequence. Yeah, perfect. Take num pool perks unlocked. It doesn't have to be a hash set. I guess it can just be an IEnumerable. We need this from link. We can delete all these things. Pretty easy. What's the problem there? Non-generic type cannot be used with type arguments. What does this return? IEnumerable ability ID. What? What am I missing here? Hold on, I'm confused at why this doesn't work. I'll need to look at that some more. Oh, I didn't know that there was a vaccine approved for koala's flare. Interesting. Never mind, forgot my glasses. They left us. How did the rest of yesterday go? I am confused by this. The non-generic type cannot be used with type arguments. It is generic though. Did I import the wrong one? Oh, I did import the wrong one, probably. Although I don't know how. It says it's not needed. Okay, let's just Command Z a couple of these things. I get this from... Oh, there are two different ones of these? How do I tell the difference? Can you hover? Can you click? How do I see what the rest of this is? It says system.collection ... Oh, well, that's the one I wanted. I guess that was, the dot was generic. Gearing up for what could happen if the government shuts down? Ducks in a row and whatnot? Oh boy. Yeah, that doesn't sound like fun. There's a tool I love on Mac OS called RCMD. Allows you to rapidly switch focus to other apps. Might be interesting, might not be. Figured I'd highlight it, not my software. Yeah, I'm using Hammerspoon for that. I don't know what this RCMD does exactly, but if I want to go from my terminal to VS Code to Chrome, I've got shortcuts for all that stuff. And the tool is pretty simple. And I can extend it with other things if I want to. But yeah, I hadn't heard of RCMD. And I appreciate the suggestion. I think I've already probably got it covered at this point. All right, so we got to change this to be available perks.union with main.challenge-mode.progress.get pool perks. That looks great. And then we do the same thing over here. We get these from the IDs. These are just IDs. Select. Actually, I want to do this. For each ability ID there, modify ability level to 0. There. So this will either show nothing if you started a new game or something if you have beaten any challenges already. Are we lurking in chat on and off? Gotcha. Yeah. So do I have anything? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I have all of them. Amara Bros. Thank you. I'm an Amara bro. All right, so what are we calling this? This is going to be like unlocked or like bone mode perks. Perk pool perks. I don't know what to call this. So I'm just going to call it something. And then we're going to rename this to, oh, I should have done that first. Oh, goodness. Fine, whatever. I'll do it this way. All right, perk pool perks tree. So replace all those things. And then say, as you progress through bone mode, you unlock perks that will show up in the pool. This tree represents those, this tree renders those perks. You can't modify their level. And what else? You can't modify their level or even see the level, since the level is associated with a run and you wouldn't be in a run at this point. All right, so why is this red now? Type perk pool perks tree already defines init with the same parameter types. Is that stale? All I did is rename the file. Is it because of testeroni tree still existing? It is because of that. Oh, well, then let's go delete that. And then just search for this and change it to unlocked perks or something. I don't know. Hey, Reflex, welcome back. Yeah. All right, so this broke, but this should be pretty easy to fix. Because I didn't rename it in here, I think. Yeah, I broke that. Perk pool perks tree uses this. Did I delete the wrong thing? Where is this? Perk pool perks.cs. I guess that's what I want, but I had tree in the name. Fix, open. All right, now it should work, I think. Should probably rename this to perk pool perks tree, which means I got to do that again. It's still not working. Cannot instantiate C# script because the associated class cannot be found. Perk pool perks, make sure it exists. All right, let's just rename this to tree. And then reveal the old one. Delete that. Fix it over here, which is on the new challenge run thing. This has a script. And then the tree should have a script. Yeah. Hey, Kevin. Perk pool perks tree. Okay. I think this will work this time. But it didn't already. Oh, it did work. Okay, cool. So it says unlock perks. It says unlock perks up there too. I don't really think we need a title for this. I think maybe what we need is a description of what these are. But we'll work on the UI in a little bit. So I want to check this in, and then I need the commit SHA. Hey, Matt was here. You are now other Matt since you typed second today. So pass your name badge. Hello, my name is other Matt. Between you two. This is looking good. The word testeroni shouldn't exist anymore in the code base, right? Yeah, nice. That's my canary word. That's the coal mine is filling with toxic fumes, noxious gases, toxious gases. All right, delete that. Looking pretty good. Yep. Yeah, all this stuff is looking pretty nice. So this is what I want to look at, meta perks tree. I gotta remember that. And then this stuff should all be fixed. Sure, that I'm gonna do in a later commit. Meta perks tree. Okay, so add tab for unlocked perks. It's not even just add tab for unlocked perks. It's like allow unlocking perks. Allow unlocking perks. And did I delete reputation in this or in the past one? I deleted the last one, yeah. So every time you beat a challenge, you unlock 2 more of the generated perks. There are 12 total for right now. A lot of this UI is still a work in progress. So we do that. We get the SHA of this. There it is. Then we put this in the cleanup section. Delete a whole bunch of meta perks in this SHA in meta perks tree.cs. but didn't remove the corresponding code for it. One of us is Matthew and the other one is Matt. I know a guy named Sam, as in that's his entire first name. It's not short for Samuel or anything. I guess it's reasonable you could be named Matt. Although I do wonder how many people out there in the world are just named Matt. Probably not as many as are named Matthew. All right, so now I want to fix this stuff. Set button ability takes in a string and not a button. Set button ability. I just don't know why we would have ever done this. So let's find out why. And then if there is no reason, let's fix it. So here we have a button, so there's no reason to do this. This is the definition of it. This, we have a button, no reason to do this. This is the definition of it, and this is the definition of it. Wow. No point in doing any of that stuff. So what could we get instead? I just pass in a skill button base. But out of curiosity, why is this even a function that's here? Yeah, why is this a function that's here? Why don't we just put it on skill button? Because the tree itself has to do something? Hmm. Otherwise, they'd have to change their name, of course. You know it. They would. You can't have, this is a, this town ain't big enough for the two of us kind of situation. Oh, man. All right, so I could have this taken. Let's start with that. Let's take in a skill button base. Although, why does it return the button afterward? That seems kind of pointless. Yeah, that seems kind of pointless. Let's make it void. So this is what this function is going to look like everywhere. Let's go fix that. And here too. No, that one's done. This one's not done. And then there should be a base that I just messed up. Oh, nice. This isn't the base. Yeah, so virtual. All right, so we don't do this. We don't do this. No, wait, yes, we do. Oh my God. It's so difficult. This is virtual. Apparently, yeah, apparently base perks tree isn't the root of this. No, it is. So then this can be override. Oh boy. All right, so let's start with this one. We don't need any of this anymore. No, this has a base as well. Wait, base does inherit from player ability tree. Man, that doesn't make sense. Oh well. All right, so base.set, this is just going to be button, and then button.money change. Skill button base doesn't have a definition for that. So this should be purchase skill button. No, why is this yellow? Hides inherited member set button ability. There we go. Oh, I pixelated again. Oh no. Oh no. Well, I don't think there's any fixing this then. I probably need to replace the camera. Man. Yeah, let me just unplug this. Smooth head Adam. Man. All right, well, I should really change the stream title then, huh? Also, if I'm not gonna have a face cam on, I'm gonna turn off these bright lights. There. Oh. Warm enough as it is. Hacker mode. All right, let's go change the stream title. It's probably gonna be set in the VOD this way. Blurry face LLC. All right, done. I should go change it on YouTube as well. Where do I change it on YouTube? Here it is, edit video. Oh wait, but it's not gonna make sense to say blurry face LLC because you can't see my face. All right, I'll just say working coding. I'll just change it to coding. There. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. You know, I could turn on, if I click chillin over here, you should be able to maybe see, yeah, that's a little bit better. Or I could turn on the LEDs on this half of the keyboard, light things up. I might as well have it working for half of it, right? Yeah, this is too bad. I don't know what I'm going to do about the camera. I don't know if it's just broken now or what. Never mind. Figure out what's wrong with the camera. Hey, Cypher. Same brain cell? See, I've never heard of that. So I'm just an inventor over here. All right, so this is going to take in the button. We still need to fix most of these, I think. This one's fine. This one's not fine. And the whole reason we're doing this is for a different change, which I still need to do. Button. Purchase skill button. This is bad advertising for the camera. I don't want to buy another camera. And clearly this one kind of works. I'll have to look into this. It's a real shame. All right, so this is get node. We don't need to do this anymore. We can just get the button. I guess I'll just call this skill button. And then we rename it to button. And delete this. Okay, great. I think we did it. So this should build, and it should work pretty much the same way. And then I can change this function here. You have your hand camera just pointing at your face. I think I'd rather have it pointing at my hands. But yeah, I could do that. All right, so that looks good. This looks good. Presumably all of the buttons now look fine. You have an iPhone, you can use it as a decent webcam. I think you can use an iPhone or an Android phone as a webcam. Although I don't really have a holder for my, I only have an Android phone, but I don't have a holder for it that would point it at my face. I also don't know what that would do for the longevity of the phone to have it being used as a webcam for like 6 hours a day. A mirror between the two hats. You'll be able to see everything all at once. Will work out great. Yeah, this stuff looks like it's working. What else do we have? Perks? Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. Okay, so the main thing that I want is one of these things has like a button was added to tree. Where is that? It's apparently not in player ability tree. Is it in here? Yeah, there it is. Skill button added to scene. This needs to be in player ability tree, which then we add and call our remove functions that we have. I think you'll still be able to hear the tone of my voice and know that I'm kidding about most things. But I'm deadly serious about the Matt naming conventions. We gotta get on those. Zero setup required. Yeah. I don't have an iPhone, but I do think there's some way to make it work with Android, but I'll look online and see if there's any troubleshooting information. Zylatic shared some yesterday. Maybe there's something I can do that'll fix this, because apparently updating the firmware wasn't enough. And then if that troubleshooting doesn't work, I guess I'd buy a new camera. Or I become a VTuber. I turn into a virtual skeleton. Hey, Monster, is there a place with all the shortcuts using VS Code? There isn't, because in general, there are, I guess, two components to that. One is the actual keys I use. I don't think that's important for many people. And two is the shortcuts themselves. These I'm happy to at least tell people about. The most common ones for me are like find a file, find a function in a file, then like just general tab navigation stuff, so like going back and forth between tabs. And then beyond that, it's all the normal editing commands, right? Like move lines around, cut a line, duplicate a line, those sorts of things. If there's anything you see me doing that you're like, how did you do that? I'm happy to answer. Did you disable autofocus? I shouldn't have touched anything. It is possible that I messed up the focus. So let me write that down. Because if that's it, that would be a very easy solution. It's just I almost never touch the camera other than to hit the power button and to angle it a little differently. So like if I turned off autofocus, oh, you know what? Maybe a friend of mine. Okay, I'll look into that. Yeah, maybe it's as simple as that. But it's not my fault. Did it fix itself after a patch or before? I wonder if you could just put a fan on it or something. After a patch or before? I'm not sure what you mean by that, because I don't think it's really fixed itself. The other thing that's a little bit weird is when I turn off the camera, it now no longer like makes the lens go back in, which makes me think it's not an autofocus thing, that there's something broken with the camera itself. And well, anyway, I don't know. We'll try that out. Did I update to macOS 26? I don't think I have yet. Yeah. But like I said, I'll look into that. I'll hopefully figure something out with it. All right, so I think this skill button was added to tree, which is what, here? I think this should be moved down a level to here. But then what? This called it? No, this didn't call it. Okay, so that should all work. And then whatever the parent is that makes a button, instantiate. This doesn't even do it. I don't even know what does it. Here it is. Okay, unique name and owner. We don't even need this stuff anymore. This is all kind of pointless now, right? I mean, maybe it makes sense to just use the name anyway. It'll help for identifying in the scene tree, but it's not really necessary. So if I'm not mistaken, none of this is needed here. So we get purchase skill button button equals add skill button. Then we pass in the parameters we need, which is the ability ID and the data. We don't have data. Yeah, we don't have this. All right, well, whatever. I guess we can just still get rid of this. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay, so what do we really do in this commit? Nothing? Yeah, kind of nothing. It got rid of a few lines of code. I guess that's okay. But in general, I don't think this was needed. And this doesn't have to be here. Just can go back to where it was. By the way, this is totally random. I watched the first 2 seasons of Alice in Borderland, and then the 3rd season came out, and man, does it suck. I watched 2 episodes, and I think I'm done. I'm not going to talk about anything that happened in the show, but man, just seems really bad. Okay, yeah. So refactor some code. The original goal here was to be able to use... Hey, Captain Anosa. To be able to use whatever that function was, which should be on my clipboard. Yeah. Skill button added scene from perk pool perks tree. But, well, 2 things. But I don't have a perk ability data in that tree, so it Not worth the effort to change this. We now use button references instead of fetching them by their names. Okay. Love the first two seasons. You might love the third season as well. Because after I watched 2 episodes and I was like, oh, I was not a fan. I was like, is anyone else not a fan? And yeah, there were some people who like it. And yeah. Something that's kind of interesting, and this is sort of the thing with Squid Game too. Squid Game, it took already existing childhood games. So I don't really think you have to question, like, would these games work in real life? But I think Alice in Borderland, I don't think any of these games, well, not any of them, I don't think most of them existed. So anyway, they came up with a game. And I'm just curious, like, what if I ran that game with 50 people on the stream? Like, what would happen? Because the way it plays out in the show, I'm not certain that it would happen that way in real life. But also, it's not a life or death situation if we play it on the stream. I don't watch anime, no. I'm just not a fan of anime for some reason. All right, so this is done. Write a comment for Testroni tree. We did that. Rename the class. We did that. Fix the to-do about producing sound. I have not done that yet. And I don't know what should do this. But I think the title screen has a way of doing this. We just need to figure out who owns this. Here it is. And yeah, this should have some way. Oh, there's played sound. Easy, easy. All right, so played sound plus equal sound ID. Invoke. We put this here. And we put this here. Okay, and that should work. I have my opinions. Okay, so I need sound on to be able to test this. Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. That's a bug. All right, let's get that to happen again. I click this and then click this. I'm just gonna paste this. Let's put it in the backlog somewhere. Bug. If you click bone mode and then the settings button, you won't be able to click dismiss in the first dialog. I wonder why we can't. Huh, strange. But yeah, going back a step. So if I click this, turn this on, I should be able to hear sounds for... Oh, there is no sound for this. Yeah, there is no sound for this. Because you can't click any of these. But it's still worthwhile to have this just in case we add sounds. I don't want to be confused about why that's not working. Cypher. This is probably true of a lot of shows because they're just character archetypes, right? Hey, Windy. Hey, Hap. Oh, wait. Sorry. Hang on. I hate Windy. That guy sucks. We got a lot of drama going on right now. He stole the idea for Skeleseller and he's trying to make money off of it. So don't follow that guy. Definitely don't go to his channel and watch his amazing content. Ugh, Windy's here. Tell me about it. Tell me all about it. Yeah, thanks for the raid, Windy. Drama. Oh my god, look at that in real time. The viewer numbers, they're hitting 5 digits. Windy's selling Skeleseller. It's going pretty well. Well, except for my camera seems broken. It's still doing that blurry face thing. So I guess it's just keyed cam all day. Corn on the cob, if you know what I mean. What we're working on is still trying to get the meta perks to be changed. So we originally had a giant list of these, like 20 something meta perks, and they just weren't that interesting. So we're going to trim it down to 6. These aren't the 6. They're just buttons, placeholders right now. We're going to trim down to 6, and then every time you beat a challenge, you'll unlock more of these perks that can show up in the pool. I don't have icons for these yet, so I've drawn a nice little face here. Shiny Keeb. That's a great accent. The important camera still works. You know it. It does. Okay, so we have finished that. I don't have an outstanding commit, right? I do have an outstanding commit. Yeah, add sound playing, fix to do item about playing sound. Okay. Next. Wendy, how's the progress today? That's on. Change the tooltip on unlock perks so we don't show 0 seconds. We need another tooltip for that. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, let's reload this before I move forward. I think this will be a little bit difficult. Really good progress today. Got a shop system in. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I think the game should be playable tomorrow, maybe tonight. Wendy's game, I mean. And the stuff I've been working on, by the way, for anyone who was interested in playtesting, this stuff should be out, I think, on Friday. And I am really hoping it is going in the right direction. Because I need a win. I need a win. Okay, so generated ability eventually inherits from base ability, which has a get tooltip. And it's this, get ability description tooltip that I think everything overrides. So I look at like farm crop value. Yeah, there it is. So I need another one of these, which is like get tooltip for unlocked perk or something like that. Get ability description tooltip for unlocked perk. This is a stupid name. Got a dash? Yeah, take care, Wendy. Thanks again. The win is the friends that follow your channel. You can't spell Windy Beard without win. And D-Beard. Is Affida? Yeah, no face cam because my camera's been blurry. Let me add a command about that. Adam's camera has been blurry for some reason that apparently wasn't fixed by a firmware update. He's still looking into it as a date. He sure hopes he doesn't have to buy a new one. All right, so I want this to be used in a certain case. There's already get tooltip here, but we want another one of these that's something like get tooltip for unlocked perk. And it's going to do this. But this shouldn't take in an entity. I guess these are just player abilities. So however I did this is not needed anymore. This is its own virtual thing. Get tooltip. Interesting. So I guess let's just delete this stuff. Get tooltip for unlocked perk. This doesn't take in anything. In fact, this could just be static. Yeah. Now what's the problem here? We got to move this farther down. Yeah. Has he gone yet? Thank God, he's making us all look bad with his ability to learn code fast. I know, Wendy. Save some coding ability for the rest of us. Okay, so I want to override this for some of these. I think what I'm going to do is write one in here. How should I do this? How do we test that this is working correctly? So how about we say testeroni in here and override this. And then the perk tree needs to call into that one. But it doesn't decide how to set up the hover handlers for this. Something else does. Here it is. On hover skill button. Show and update tooltip. Update tooltip. Get tooltip. Yeah, this. So we need a different way of fetching a tooltip. This could just be virtual. Protected virtual. And then we move this up to the protected functions. The witness protected functions. And we override it in here where we call, oh, this does underscore tooltip. Maybe we should say get tooltip text. Yeah, this is not the smartest way of doing this. We're getting there. We're getting there. So this should be private. This should go back to where it was. But it should call a function that's protected. Virtual string get tooltip text, and it passes in what an ability ID for that. Ability ID, ability ID. And on this particular one of these, so this is gonna do this. I'll just copy paste it for now. And we're gonna do tooltip dot set text get tooltip text tooltip ability ID. And then we don't need, okay, we delete that now. And put this over here. And return the text. And do that too. Property name is confusing given the existence of method get tooltip text. Okay. Where does get tooltip text come from? Because possibly control has it. Tooltip text? It does. Oh, my bad. Get ability tooltip text. That's probably better. Okay, so now we override this one and delete that. Okay, so here's what we got to do. We got to call get tooltip for unlocked perk, and it actually doesn't take in an ability. Well, no, it takes in an ability, I guess. It doesn't take in a component for it. All right, so if this works correctly, we should see testeroni for all the unlocked stuff and the regular tooltips for any other kind of skill. Yes. And yes, nice. All right, perfect. So now what we need to do is go change every single generated ability so that its tooltip looks better than it currently is. Never coded the tooltip for this generated ability. Let's start with the first one and just get one of these looking good. Farm crop value. Yeah, here it is. So I need a new function here. And this is going to say something like farms give, and then bonus needs to be a range. So we could use the exact same description and just pass in a different, could pass in a range. But I don't know if that's going to work for all of them. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work for all of them. I guess let's just do it for the ones where it works. Unfortunately, we have this formula. So we need to figure out what the minimum and what the maximum of this is. And one way we could do this is we could pass in 0 and we could pass in infinite for this. And then figure out what the values end up being. However, if there's an unbounded, well, I guess we just say there are no unbounded abilities. Yeah, so all of these would be clamped. What are we cooking? So the current thing is there are generated abilities. So as an example here, well, I guess this is a good example. This multiplier is set based on how many perks we presented. So in a real match, in a real run, if you have 17 perks, we could just figure out this number, right? But ahead of time, when we're like, oh, hey, this perk will now show up in the pool, we can't tell you what number there's going to be here. Oh, that face already is an emote. Yeah, anyway, we don't know what number is going to be here. So we need to tell you either a range or we just need to tell you that there's a, like, just X%. So yeah, option 1 would be something like farm crop value is increased. So option 1 is like no variables shown whatsoever. Option 2 would be show the range. Farm crop value is increased by 5 to 20%. Option 3 is show the formula. Farm crop value is increased by X%, where X equals, this is stupid, I think. X equals, num perks times 2 plus 1 or 0.05 or whatever. And option 4 is like show a placeholder. Farm crop value is increased by X%, where X is based on how many perks you've chosen so far. Something like that. So I think this one's probably best, but I think this one's also pretty good. Option 2 or 4 seems best to me. Or, I mean, we could simplify this, probably simplify the text to be something like farm crop value is increased based on how many perks you've chosen so far. I kind of like this. It's simple. Because one of the problems with farm crop values increased by 5 to 20% is you don't know how it gets to 20%. Does that take 50 perks? How many perks do you get in a game? And it's also just more coding, whereas this is pretty simple. So how about this? Yeah, let's stick with this for right now. It's at least a good start, and I think it's also pretty clear. Description for unlocked perk is going to be farm crops are worth more based on how many perks you've chosen so far. Yeah, there. So now this will be get description for unlocked perk, and we just don't put anything there. Unfortunately, we need 2 strings for all of these now. Yeah. We could make it 1 string if we wanted to. We could have like description generic, and we could say farm crops give X more sludge, and then reason, and set reason to space based on how many perks you've chosen so far in some cases. But I don't know if every tooltip would work that way. If I just stash what I've done so far and then go take a look at what we had, I can look through the tooltips really fast. I don't think it's smart to try to make 1 string work. But let's see what we have here. So farm crops give more sludge based on how many perks you've chosen. The cost of battle perks is reduced by... Yeah, I wouldn't work for this one. I won't be tricked today. Surely it won't stay sunny if I don't water. Yeah, we've been getting some rain again here. Summers have been very dry in the last many years, actually. Okay, we'll just work with this. I kind of want to take a picture of all of these so I can see what they were all supposed to be visually and not have to go through the code to find them. But it's going to be kind of annoying to get every single one of these. But it's probably going to help out, so let's do it. Let's create a new, create a new thing. I want to set this to just gigantic, so 4,000 by 4,000. And let's make it, whoa, what? Can't scroll through this? Transparency. You were trying to create an image of 165 megabytes. Okay, fine. 2,000 by 2,000. Okay, so we just got to copy paste all these things in. Yeah. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Yeah, I think this will help because I won't know what we had before this, and I don't want to keep stashing and going back to it. Did I mess this up? I did mess this up. Oh God! All right, I'm not even doing this. Let's just ignore it. I'll just get the rest of this working. All right, so pop this back to what we had, and just go modify every one of these things. So we got done with one of them, this one. And I have several more of these to do this with. So the first was farm crop value. The second is battle perk cost. Battle perk cost. Oh, we could make this generic. If all it's going to do is return a string, can we just point it at where the string is? Or have it override? No, maybe... I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to do it this way for now. Okay, so we need this too. Yeah, I guess you can't really simplify this function too much. You need it to be parameterized as part of something passed in a generated ability, which we only have player data. We need to pass in something else that also has a string. And then the string is just used for that function, which would work. And it's fewer lines of code. Yeah, fine. Let's do it that way. Yeah. All right, I did this somewhere else. Player ability data. Yeah, here. So I want this for a generated ability. Put this up here. This is now generated ability data. Takes in a player ability data and then a string like tooltip. What do we call this? For unlocked perk. And then just say never coded this. And return the tooltip for unlocked perk. Oh no, this needs to take in an ability data. Generated ability data, data with max level. This is data.player ability data with max level. And then this comes from here. Data.tooltip for unlocked perk. Cool. Then we plug that in. So now these all need to be generated ability data. And then this changes. I guess this doesn't reduce the number of lines of code unless it turns out that I need to use this again in the future. But yeah, otherwise it's going to be kind of annoying, huh? So new, we pass in the player ability data. And then the tooltip for unlocked perk. And then get rid of this. All right, that would do it. So this gets a little bit bigger. Yeah. So the whole line gets bigger by 6, or the whole file gets bigger by 6 lines. Well, no, this will be gone. And 2 of them had to be done by this, so it's getting bigger by 3 lines. Because we need to add in this stuff, yeah. Like I said, if we end up putting anything else in generated ability data, this way will be superior because then we'll just add 1 line. But I don't have anything else for that now. There's another way we could do this. We could just not make a new data class and pass into the root the player data and then the message. That would work too. And that would be simpler. And yeah, let's do that for now. All right. So instead of having this, we just put a string tooltip for unlocked perk. And I guess put that is equal to this. Then put this back to player ability data. Then get rid of this. Then put this down here. And change this so that it goes back to pretty much exactly what it was. There. And then here we just put messages.get tooltip for unlock perk. Hey, Meridio. Welcome back. All right, cool. So this is what the change would look like. And how many lines does this add? This adds 9 somehow. What is this doing here again? I deleted that already. Huh. Strange. And, oh, because I command Z'd everything. That's right. Okay, so now how many lines is it? It's +3. So I guess it's +3 versus +5. But yeah, I like this. I think this is pretty clean. Did I fix the LEDs? No, these are just forced on, even though I haven't pressed these keys in a while. Like they're not lighting up, whereas over here they are. It's too bad. And my face cam is still blurry, unfortunately. All right, so like I said, I got to change all of these. So how about this? Let's go and modify every one of these things to have this new data member in it. So there's that. We want to do this for all of them. Power leveling. Oh, I shouldn't have taken as long as it did. Power leveling. What's this? Stronger hires. Grant storage. Free guild supplies. Free treasure chests. Auto fishing. Enemy stat multiplier. Marine mana. Fish give gold. And then there's just one more. This might need to be on a separate line. And then greedy garbage slime. Okay, so there's all that. Now we need to go change everywhere that we call in a generated ability to pass in this thing. So it should just be all the files I just modified. Can I quickly open them all? I mean, I guess I had them all open. I don't know if I can do this. No, that doesn't work. That's too bad. Okay, fine. Well, let's click all of these. Thankfully, these buttons are in the same places every time, so I can just go down the row, or down the column, I mean. All right, so now all of them need to pass in messages.get tooltip description for unlock perk. There we go. So just replace data with this. This should be pretty simple. That one's already done. Okay, we're almost finished. And that's it. And then we go through and we replace all the descriptions. So now it says catches a fish from the pond every so often. The frequency is based on how many, what did the first thing say? Farm crop value. How many perks you've chosen so far? Shouldn't it say town perks? How many town perks you've chosen so far? Or maybe that should be in a note at the bottom and all of these will have the same note. Well, that's formatting. We can work on that later. Let's just get the text in there for now. All right, so battle perk cost. The cost of battle perks is reduced. The cost of battle perks is reduced based on how many town perks you've chosen so far. All right, how about this? Based on how many perks you've chosen so far, how about we just replace that with based on how many town perks you, and that way I don't need to replace it all the time. All right, so now this one, enemy power and health are reduced based on how many town perks you've chosen so far. Every time you cook a fish, you get gold. Based on how many town perks you've chosen so far. You know what we could do that's probably smarter than this? We could have, for all generated abilities, just say the power of, or like the strength or impact or some like generic word indicating the potency of this ability is going to change based on how many town perks you have. It's going to improve. They might not all work like that though. Some could work in reverse, in which case we couldn't have a generic thing and then we'd be happy that we did this. But I guess we could just override that specific one. Anyway, whatever. Let's read this. Every time you cook a fish, you get gold based on how many town perks you've chosen so far. You get gold, the amount of gold. Something like that. What's this one say? Every so often, your warehouse fills with guild supplies. The frequency is based on that. Get a free treasure chest every so often. The frequency. Oh, this is frustrating. All right, automatically eat an item from the warehouse and a maximum hunger. This actually has exactly the same description, whether or not you have it unlocked, because there's no variables. So we can just say get description down here and delete this. Grant storage. Get more shop. Get more item displays for random shops. The number is, there we go. And then what's this one say? Catching a glowy fish gives mana to the enchanter. The amount based on how many town perks you've chosen so far. Your lowest level adventurer will be given number of battle perks based on how many town perks you've chosen so far. There's more battle perks. All right, that's everything. Let's go try it out. I'm not sure we made things clearer here. And I also don't know how many people are even going to look at this screen. This is the equivalent of something like an encyclopedia in the game. If you're curious, which perks could I get in a game? You'd look at this and you'd see what they are. Which I do think some people will care about this. But otherwise, you'll just find these in the middle of a game and they won't have some like based on how many town perks you've chosen. It'll collapse into a number. So it'll say something like, instead of you get X, X is based on, you know, how many town perks you've gotten. It'll just say you get 5 or you get 17 and you won't know what that number was based on. And you might not even realize that those numbers are increasing. So yeah, I'm going to read these now. Farm crops are worth more based on how many town perks you've chosen so far. Cost of battle perks is reduced based on how many town perks you've chosen so far. Your lowest level adventure will be given a number of battle perks. Yeah, this is stupid. Random displays, random shops, numbers based on this. Every so often, your warehouse fills with guild supplies. Get a free treasure chest every so often. There's a fish directly from the pond. I think I'm going to leave this as is for now. But I do think this could have been simplified. Do I still have that buffer open? I don't. But I was talking about option 1 would be like, don't show anything special. One of the options was something like show X. So I think this would probably look better as farm crops are worth X% more. And then we have something like note X increases based on how many town perks you've gotten. And then we just parameterize them all like this. But I don't think I want to do that. Yeah, I don't think I want to do that right now. So let's just leave this as is. So this is get generated abilities have the right tooltips. Make a special tooltip for generated abilities. These show for unlocked perks for bone mode. And I'm guessing this is all pretty straightforward. Oh, this still exists. We don't need this. This is fine. Yeah, and then all of these should look practically identical. Except for that shouldn't be there. And it's probably there for farm crop value as well. Did I ever delete that? Nope, that's the problem. That's all fine. Fine, fine, fine. This is good. This is good. This is good. So wait, I did not mess this up for farm crop value? Huh, interesting. Yeah, again, I'm gonna look through this one more time really quickly. It's generated ability, player ability. Yeah, nice. No other functions defined, right? Cool. All right, great. Add a tab for unlocked perks. This is going to be all perks tree. This is already done. Eh, It's not actually an all perks tree. Set titles with this. I don't even have a tab controller, but I need to make one. Tab controller equals new. We made this out of the tab container and then set the titles. And we never need to set the titles after this again. Pool tree. This is not where this would be done. It'd be in meta perks tab container. This is also probably not where this would be done. Where's the actual tab container? It's there. We never get that. All right, well, we can fetch it. Hey, Krasner. Hope your week is stellar. Thank you. How's your week going so far? Tab container here. And then set tab titles. And we need to know what the tab IDs are. Where does that happen? Tab container equals new. Or tab controller equals new. Tab container. We get this. This is fine. Well, I don't know why. Do we need this again? We don't need this again. I could simplify this. I could probably... Do we use this in many places? Yeah, we do. Anywhere else? I guess I'll just search for them all here. That one we have. Yep, that can also be changed. And what about this one? Oh, this one we use in many different places. But this and maybe this one can all be made simpler. Yeah. Tell your week budgeted to exploring a new product. Having a good time. I always like those sorts of things. I think it's fun to work on new stuff, and I think it's fun to work on stuff you don't need to maintain. And I think that's why game jams are so cool. Because you're doing something new. If you decide you want to maintain it later, you're probably starting again. It's probably slightly less fun. All right, so I'm going to simplify this. And then we're going to rename these things. This is just going to delete one line of code, but it's at least going to be clear that we don't need to save this thing. Writing some code with no concern for the data I'm making. Yeah, that's fun coding. Tab container, tab container. Okay, and then one more of these. In fact, I could have just renamed this here and then did that. Cool. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing over here. And then why do we save the tab controller off? Is there a reason for that? Yes, to be able to set tabs to hidden. But I don't need to do that. Unless we have open a specific tab ID. And we might want that. Yeah, I should say make sure that clicking perks will always open the first tab, not the second one. All right, let's save it off. We need a tab ID. We need to get some tabs. Why is this all red? Why is this all red? What happened? Something big changed here. Oh, that. I didn't realize. I got rid of a curly brace. Okay, so what are tab IDs in this case here? That's fine. And we just put those right beneath the tab controller? Sure. Well, I guess the reason we put it right beneath it is because that was the division between public and private stuff. All right, so tab ID, we have two tabs for this one. We have upgrades and we have unlocked perks. What's this complaining about? Event should not follow an enumeration. Always find that fun. Okay, set tab titles. What are they? Upgrades and unlocked perks? Yep, cool. We don't have a localized thing though. So let's go get that. All right, so there should be a tab title in here. It should know how to fill this in. Is it seriously called tab title upgrades? No. get upgrades tab title, and get unlocked perks tab title. It was close. And the next one is unlocked perks. Nice, I knew that one. Okay, cool. And then the tab container doesn't actually exist here. We do that. But I copy pasted that from somewhere, right? New tab container. I guess I copy pasted it before I modified that. Okay, let's try it out now. Oops. I clicked the wrong button. All right, upgrades and unlocked perks. That's good. And when you click this, what is it open to? Just whatever one was open last? Yeah, whichever one was open last. How do we set which one should open? Selected tab. All right, I want it to be selected to tab id.upgrades. We also need to we need to handle what happens if you don't have any unlocked perks. We need to handle if you don't have any unlocked. So this is done. This is done. Set tab titles properly. And this doesn't involve changing as many things as I did. This is just getting the tab container, so that's necessary. This is not needed. This is not needed. This is not needed. But this one is. So the rest of these changes are me just deleting an unused variable. And this one is reasonable. Yeah. Remove unused member variable. Make sure clicking perks always opens the first tab. Done. Well, I think done. I don't know if I actually tested it, but I'm pretty sure it's working. Yep, nice. And then if you do this, it'll remember which tab you were on. I think that's okay. So yeah, that's finished. Just show unlocked perks for now. I did this. Handle if you don't have any unlocked. Okay, so here are the special cases we got to handle. We got to tell you how many you can unlock and how many you have unlocked. I think just putting it in parentheses here is probably fine. Like unlocked perks, and it says 3 out of 12 or something. And then you see the 3 that are there. We could show grayed out icons for ones you haven't gotten. That would also indicate how many there would be. I don't really care too much how we do that. But I think showing you grayed out ones is not important because it's not like you'll be able to hover over them and tell what they do. For some cases, that makes sense. If you have a skill tree, you want to know what the final skills are so that you can figure out what to work toward. How do we do this? Yeah. So something like this. You're like, what are the end skills so I know what's fun, and then you work your way toward them. But if you're gonna get them all automatically, it's just more information for you to read through potentially. So I don't think that's necessarily good. There are still reasons why you might want to do that if it does unlock automatically, because maybe it'll change how you play and you'll want to know when those play changes are going to come in. But yeah, I don't think it matters for this. So where does that text show up? Unlocked perks. It's the title that would show up here, and it just says title there. I'm guessing it's because of how this thing works. Yeah, it's a player ability tree, and we probably set the title once. String title, here it is. Yeah. Yep, that's too bad. Wait, this just says perks. There's another one of these. Hold on a second. Where is this called from? There. Yeah, unlocked perks. So I want this to show. Oh, I guess it's easy enough to do that. I guess we could just say title equals unlocked perks and a $, and then num unlocked divided by num total. Yeah, so now num unlocked is equal to this. Num pool perks unlocked. And the number total is equal to that. And then we replace the title. Whoops. There. All right, and then we should just put a num pool perks unlocked and then replace that there. All right, so it should show 12 out of 12. Yeah, I meant to put that in parentheses. And then there's one other thing I want to do, which is mat.min of num pool perks total and that, just in case later you have a higher number unlocked than there are possible in the game. This is the unlocked perks tree. All right, I think that's good. So now we have how many you've unlocked. And if I were to change my save file, so let's open this up. And let's say num pool perks unlocked is 2. And then reload. It'll say 2 out of 12, but also it'll only show 2 icons. And then the next step we need to do is have it tell you how you get new ones. Yeah, so it says 2 out of 12. You can only see the 2. So now how do we tell you how you get new ones? We could put it... We could put it anywhere, I guess. Like in this meta perks tree, I just added... This doesn't work. Where's the upgrades thing? Oh, there it is. All right, I just put a VBox container in here. Yeah, I think I want to do that for this too. That title comes from this, yeah. Yeah, so we could just put a line above this saying like unlock these perks by completing runs. I think it'd make more sense to put it under the title, which would mean we would need to make a new scene here and then modify it so that right underneath title, there's other text that you can add. I could just add it no matter what. We could just put a subtitle label. Doesn't it have a font size in it? Yeah. I could just make a subtitle with like size 20 or something. Let's just do that and see what it looks like. Subtitle label. Size 20. Yeah, so due to the lack of theme, it's going to be a little bit hard to read. But this is where some explanatory text could go. So this would say something like unlock perks by completing bone mode runs. Don't I do something special in... No, I did it in the twist section. I wonder how I did that, though. Oh, because it's just a label? So I just fill the label differently? Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so I'm not sure where I want to put this text, but something needs to tell you how you unlock these. And it should be somewhere in this dialogue. It could be by hovering over the title. But this dialogue is just going to be empty when you first start this. So I think there should be some text here that says something like, you haven't unlocked any. Although that could appear in this. There could be a label in here. You haven't unlocked. Well, this should be centered. And then this shouldn't expand to fill the whole thing. We should shrink this. That doesn't work. Vertical alignment. Wait, what? I'm a little confused by this. Why can't we set this to shrink begin? Huh. Because, yeah, putting this text at the bottom here isn't going to be helpful if it's at the bottom. You haven't unlocked any perks yet. What does this look like in the game? I'm guessing it'll look exactly like this, in which case it won't be helpful. Yeah. This isn't bad, though. Unlock perks by completing bone mode runs. And then we could just change it. The only thing that I think is potentially bad is that it's still a little too large. Probably want this to be smaller than that, maybe like this. Yeah, it's better. We could just hide the whole UI for this if you haven't gotten any. Just turn that off. Oh, then I guess the title doesn't show up either. Do we even need the title, though? Don't we really just need a bunch of skill buttons? Very torn on this. Well, I'm probably also overthinking this. The first iteration just needs to tell you how to unlock these. It doesn't need to be too intense. Yeah, how do I want to do this? I think the subtitle way is pretty good. So let's delete this. And then let's make player ability tree have a subtitle label, which is, I guess, just hidden by default. And do I still have this on my clipboard? Yeah. And most of the time that would be hidden. So let's go find that player ability tree. I'll just make it protected. I think it's easier. Protected label, subtitle label. That looks good. In ready, we fetch that. Then we hide it by default. And then this thing, pool tree, is going to set it. Show and set the text to complete bone mode runs to unlock perks that will show up in future runs. That can show up in future runs. Yeah, that's pretty good. And as long as we're at it, let's do this. Subtitle text. Put these up here. Change this to get subtitle text. And messages. And partial. It's already partial. Okay, let's try it. Complete bone mode runs, unlock perks that can show up in future runs. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Tell you how to unlock more. If you don't have any more to unlock, we should just say you've gotten them all. Okay, we got to do that too, I guess. So how do we know that you've gotten them all? I guess because we have an abilities component and we know how many abilities there are and we know how many we should have. Alternatively, we could figure it out just the same way that this figured it out, which is to just check to see if you have as many as you need. It kind of means that this thing can come up with its own title. Yeah, so we don't even need to pass in a title. So delete that. Change the init of this to do that. Change this. And then this will no longer be an override. And then we just specify the title. Easy. Okay, so this will be title text. And this is going to be unlocked perks. And then parenthesis progress. Yeah. And then the title will be messages. I get title text. We pass in progress. And it is that. Nice. All right. And then what else? It says unlocked. Oh, no. It says complete bone mode runs, unlock perks that can show up in future runs. So it should probably say like subtitle text when incomplete or when lacking perks. When lacking unlocks it. Sure, whatever. And then subtitle text when fully unlocked. And this could just say you have unlocked. You have earned all unlockable perks already. Yeah. And now we just pick which one of these we should use at the right time. So if num pool perks unlocked is greater than or equal to num total, then, oh, nice. The AI knows what I want. Nice. Okay, great. So I'm going to run this. We only have 2, so it should tell me how to unlock more. Complete bone mode runs will unlock perks that can show up in future runs. Great. And then I guess it's probably faster to just modify my save file. So I'll set this to 12. I was going to say we need to win 5 runs, which it's just a few clicks, but that's 5 times however many clicks that is. Excuse me. Now it says you have earned all unlockable perks already. And then the final thing we need to do is look at when it's 0. Because I want to make sure the UI doesn't look stupid when it's 0. Yeah, so it'd be nice if it showed a message like you haven't earned any of these. But I think it's kind of clear from the UI as it is. Unlock perks is 0 out of 12. Complete runs unlock perks that show up in future runs. It would be nice to see like your perks would show here though. Yeah, it's good enough for right now. Tell you how to unlock more. If you don't have more to unlock, say you got them all. Rename perk points, upgrade points. Yep. Okay. Looks good. Cool. Add subtitle to unlocked perks tree. This will tell you how to unlock more or that you've already unlocked them all. Oh, and it also tells you what they do, right? They can show up in future runs. I hope that's clear. Maybe I should put the word town in there. Unlock town perks. Yeah. And I looked through this, but does this make sense? Yeah, it makes sense. Okay. Rename perk points to upgrade points and perks to upgrades. Okay, before I do this, let's just take a look. So this says upgrades already. This would also say upgrades. This would say upgrade points. Refund upgrade points. And then it would show you all the things you can get. Do all of them make sense as upgrades? Start with some number of battle perks, town perks, buildings, adventurers, workers, customers. We could later add other ones in here. So I guess upgrade is a pretty generic term, in which case it does make sense to switch. Oh boy. All right, this is the skill tree that costs upgrade points to unlock abilities. We just got to change every single one of these, right? Upgrade points earned. Refund upgrade points. Refunds all of your upgrade points. This is free. Completed scenarios earns upgrade points, which allows you to get persistent upgrades that affect all future runs. Completed scenarios earns upgrade points. You can spend on persistent upgrades that affect a future run. I think this is redundant. Maybe it should say earns points, which you can spend on upgrades. This could be made more succinct. Hey, Fritz. Thank you for the raid. My face cam is off, but I'm smiling. I'm showing gratitude with my face. Hope the stream was good. Welcome in, everyone. Let me give a shout out. We were working on challenge mode for the last however long, and we renamed it now. So challenge mode is now called Bone mode. And Bone stands for business optimization via new expansions. That's kind of a cheesy little thing that we have in the game. But anyway, we are changing how the upgrades work for this. So there used to be a whole bunch of these, 20 something of them, and now we're going to trim it down to just 6 of them. And I still got to improve this UI a little bit. But then also as you complete runs, you'll unlock things that just automatically show up in future runs. So if I like start a scenario here, the way this will work is when you click town perks and buy a perk, you're shown a random set of 3 out of, I don't know, 50 something. And more can show up as you complete challenges. And that's what that title screen thing does here. That'll show you which ones can show up. So right now there are no extra ones. But if I win a challenge, it gives us some upgrade points. And now we should have 2 things in here. Yeah, I don't have icons for them yet. But farm crop value and battle perk cost. So now if we start, it's probably not going to be obvious, but yeah, I'd have to get a whole bunch of these before it would show up, I bet. Anyway, they can now show up in here. That's the point. That's what we're working on. Welcome in, everyone. It's going to be coding for another couple hours probably. And the main thing we have to get done is this too. But right now I'm just renaming perk points to upgrade points. So upgrade points, your upgrade points. Number of unspent. So this is called perk points. We should probably rename it here too. Upgrade points. Number of unspent upgrade points you have. And then total upgrade points. I already deleted all the save file stuff. So it's not going to further break things. Total amount of upgrade points. This is used when refunding your upgrade points. So you know the cost of, I guess, upgrades at this point. On each individual upgrade. Cool. And then what's this? Perk points for metal. It's going to be confusing. Because even stuff like this is wrong. Get perk points. Yeah, this too. Upgrade points label. Perk points label. Even this is named wrong now. Oh, I don't know. I don't think I should rename it everywhere. Let's just keep these the same for now. And just rename it as the user-facing stuff. I don't really like when this happens, but it's usually not worth the effort to update even variable names. So let's see if it looks good in the context of what a player would see. So now I click over here. We see 180 upgrade points. Your upgrade points, earn these by completing bone mode runs. I click perks. We see this here. I can refund them. Refunds all your upgrade points. This is free. So if I spend some and click this, it goes back. And then this says perks. This probably should say upgrades. I don't know where it even shows up. Perks. Meta perk. Upgrades. Is that even where this is supposed to be? Oh, wait a sec. I didn't even look at that, did I? It's right there. It says perks. Yeah, this should say upgrades. Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad I found that, but there's one more of them I need to change, which is this. This should say upgrades. And if we have a localized thing, we should use it from there. I'll go add it in. It's the right thing we should do. Title is going to say upgrades. Then we get this up here and change this to be messages.getTitle. Not tile. Title. All right, so now the word perk shouldn't show up probably at all. Well, no, never mind, not at all. It should show up in unlocked perks, but it shouldn't show up here. Completing scenarios earns upgrade points, which you can spend on upgrades that affect all future. I still want to make that more succinct. But yeah, sure, we have upgrades here. This is upgrades. Cool. Refund the points. Unlocked perks. Complete bone mode runs will unlock town perks that can show up in future runs. Sounds good. We start a scenario. We hover over this at the top. I don't think it's going to show anything. Nope. But then we win, and it shows this. Business succeeded. We have the time. Target gold. Scenario. Upgrade points earned 15. Hover for breakdown. Spend these before your next run to unlock persistent perks. That's not good. Unlock persistent perks. There. And the rest of it's fine. Cool. All right. So rename perk points to upgrade points. Should probably just make it lowercase, huh? I don't want to confuse players since perks exist pretty heavily throughout a run, but the upgrades are the rogue light aspect of this. Anything else we have here? This is one of those commits where we really just changed a bunch of English. So I don't expect there's going to be anything controversial. You should just make sure it saves and loads correctly. And it should be pretty easy to test that. So right now I have 195. If I go spend 2 of them, I'm at 193. Now let's start a run. I'll hit save. We'll hit load. Go back to the title screen. I should be at 193. And I can refund up to 195. And quitting the game completely, you should have that still working. $193, refund up to 195. Cool. And it knows that I have 4 of these things. I don't know if that's correct. It probably is. Does it say 4 there? Yes. Great. Looks good. Okay, so here's the last major thing that I wanted to do, and then we just have bug fixes and stuff. And I wanted to get all this done by the end of Wednesday, so we're like way ahead of schedule right now. And I don't even think this stuff is that hard to do. We have 3 of them already coded, but we need to figure out how their costs are going to change and how they're going to grow. So like right now, if I just look at battle perks, it's +2 every time, and I don't remember what the costs are. And I don't know what they should be. I guess we just come up with random numbers for now. Didn't I say I wanted special tooltips? Yeah. And these are considered meta perks. They should be free for users named Leftist. Would you really want to start a game and have everything be granted to you? Like, let's say I did hard code this. Wouldn't you just not find the game fun? If it were a multiplayer game, I think it'd be cool to have an edge on everybody. Play an RPG where the max level is 50 and you're somehow level 150. You're just killing everybody. That might be cool. But in a single player game, it's like, hey, here's the save file. We've accomplished all the goals for you. You'd be like, well, that's boring. I guess what I'm trying to say is it would be an honor if I were to make everything take twice as long for you, right? Username equals Leftist. Just divide all your income by 2. All right, so we already have the battle perk thing written, and it's already in the game. I don't even know, what am I doing? Yeah, here it is. So I wanted this to cap at level 15. I think it's okay if we show levels like this, that there are just 7 rows or 8 rows, and it goes up to 15 or 16. But I want to be careful about doing this with the ones that have more than like 7 or 8. So what did I say here? Start with X random town perks. Cap X at 5 or 10. Okay, so here's what I think we should do. X goes up in increments of 2 to 14. Then this would be X goes up in increments of 2 to 10, probably, maybe 8. This is X goes up in increments of 1 to 3. Probably say to a maximum of good. Goes up to increments of 1 to max. Yep, got it. This is probably 2 at a time up to 14 as well. 14 workers is bonkers. And this is probably 1 at a time up to 8, let's say. So how many levels do we have? 7, 5, 3, 4, 7, 8. And maybe we just cap this at 7 so that none of them have a higher level than 7. Yeah, that's good enough as a start. Okay. So now we just got to go figure out, oh, we need to figure out the cost as well. do at least some initial balancing of the cost. All right, so what is that battle perk thing called? Battle ready, I think. Battle ready. Yeah, here it is. And here are all the levels. So we just have to add 2 more. And then in meta perks tree, we need to add 2 more costs. Well, no, let's figure out the cost later. Let's just ignore that for now. All right, more starting workers. More starting workers. This is 0, 1, 2, 3. And we said it's going to go up by, it's going to be the same numbers as random battle perks, actually. Good. All right, easy. Now customers, 1 to 7. More starting customers. Gonna do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. Okay, so this is done. This is done. This is done. We have 3 left. Let's bump these to the bottom. So start with some number of random town perks. I'm actually gonna save that for the last one. Let's start with buildings. So we need a new ability ID. Where are more workers? There it is. All right, I'm going to copy the same structure. Meta perk, more starting buildings, adventurers, and what's the last one? Town perks. Then make these numbers match 15, 16, 17, and get rid of these for now because we're just going to fill in the buildings one. Oops, I didn't mean to save it like that. Let's delete that other one. There we go. All right, so this is called more starting buildings. And we got to change a whole bunch of stuff here. Building bonus 0, 1, 2, 3. Is that what I said? Start you up to 3? Yeah. All right, building bonus dot count. Icon ID is going to be none because I don't have one yet. Get display name doesn't require anything. Get building bonus. Cool. Get description. All right, so more starting buildings. Maybe call it like pre-built town. Additional buildings. Your town starts with extra, with some buildings made for you, provided to you. The selection is random. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Okay, so now I got to figure out where we did more starting workers. That is probably in there. Yep, grant starting workers. So here we did a bunch of things. I want the same sort of thing. Why is this? Don't we have a, because I don't have a function for that. Could have sworn I had something. Huh. I thought I had a function somewhere that was like, generate this thing at the beginning of the game. Yeah, the challenges do that. Farming challenge does that. How does it do that? Oh, it's a constraint. Oh, not an ability. Okay, that's fine. All right, so more starting buildings, grant starting buildings. So this is what I want. It's going to be pretty similar to this. So I don't need get building bonus. So get level, this is going to be num buildings, building bonus. And then for that number of buildings, we want to randomly give you a building. This is not the easiest thing to do. And whatever I do here is going to make the adventure part of this really easy. All right, so let's figure this out. There is a way of getting a building, and that was done by the farming constraint to give you the farm. Here it is, force grant perk. So we need to randomly pick a building you don't already have. And we need to make sure this stuff, I'm gonna write this here, make sure all of this works with the constraints we have. E.g., if you start on adventuring mode and have +3 adventurers, you should actually start with 6, not 3. Likewise, starting with the farm means that you should have an extra building and that the random ones shouldn't pick the farm. Yeah, so it's gonna be pretty much the same code. It's just a question of where do we call it. And there's a building generator here somewhere. How does this work? Generate choices, get available building IDs. So we just get this, and then we like force give you a building. Why is this not here? Oh, because I never renamed this. All right, this shouldn't be too bad. Let's go back to the farming constraint. So I want this code over here. And then I just need to pick a different building ID. And that comes from over here. And that's already public. So let's get that. List building ID, available building IDs equals building perk choice generator. Okay, now we need to get a random one of those. Building ID random. Building ID equals this dot sample 1 0. If there are none, break out of this. Barack. All right, so get that. And now pass in the random building ID. And we're pretty good. That's all it should take. Now we add it to the meta perks tree. So instead of this, we do meta perk buildings. And we run. Yeah, we're going to be way ahead of schedule. It's not like I don't have more work I could do. Plenty of work I could do. All right, so I click upgrades. There's our new thing, pre-built town. Your town starts with some buildings provided to you. I might want to rename or reword that. The selection is random. Cool. So additional buildings, we're at 0. So if I just start a new scenario, we'll start with a farm. And that's it, because this is the farming scenario. So we don't have the garbage slime, the fishing pond, the enchanter, the treasure room, or what's the last one? 1, 2. Oh, the warehouse. Yeah. And now I'm going to return to the title, and we're going to give ourselves a random building. And now we're going to start a challenge. And we have the treasure room. And now I'm going to get 2 random buildings. Oh, oops. Gotta click that twice. And now we have the warehouse and the fishing pond. Now we get 3 random buildings. And that might have broken. No, it didn't break. I have warehouse, treasure room, and garbage slime. So I want to run this a couple times because let's do it this way just to make it easier. I want to run it a couple times to see, will it give us the farm? Is this already being done in the right order? Garbage slime, yeah, cool. That worked. If there's a 50% chance if it's coded wrong that it doesn't work. So we would see it happen pretty rapidly. Yeah, so far we've gotten 3 new buildings every time. I'll just look at the code. This is kind of stupid. So where do we run the constraints? Where do we run the constraints? After or before the meta perk. So this is guaranteed to work. But not all of them might work that way. No, they should all work. Okay, cool. Well, we're done with that. So now let's go to the adventurers one. So we go to ability to IDs. Like I said, this should be really simple because it's practically the exact same as buildings. More starting adventurers. All right, so we just replace the word building with adventurer and pretty much the whole thing. Adventure bonus 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 for that. Then this is going to be building ID dot none. This is required building ID. We couldn't just replace building everywhere, I guess. Grant starting adventurers. Get level, number of adventurers, list of adventure IDs. These would be adventure classes. And they'd be the adventure per choice generator, get available classes. And then this needs to be included. If you don't have any, don't get anything. Otherwise, get a random class. Sample that, pass it in. This is not the build panel, but it's the hire panel. Yeah, nice. Great. Cool. Right. All right, what do we call this? Attack squad. I don't know what we should call this. Hey, Consoles. Well, we don't really have lights. The right half of my keyboard's broken, so the lights are like always stuck in a certain way. But the left half is working correctly. This is what it should look like on the whole keyboard. And when I switch layers, it changes into different colors based on the layer I'm in. Yeah. Oh, this one's very colorful. So starting adventurers. Maybe we say fellowship bonus. The fellowship. I don't know. I think maybe something like adventuring party. This should be lowercase. Your town starts with some adventures provided to you. The selection is random. All right, there. That's all. Good. Town challenge mode functions. So we're going to do the same thing down here. More starting adventurers. Grant starting adventurers. And that's it. That took like 2 minutes. The question is, does it work? Oh, I never added it to the tree. Adventurers. Great. And we might as well say more starting whatever the last one was. What is the last one? Town perks. Is that what it is? More town perks. It should just be start with town perks, which we don't have yet. And I should rename it over here. There. And now it exists in the tree. And we'll be able to get some starting adventurers. Yeah, adventuring party. Town starts with some adventures provided to you. The selection is random. Now we're going to click this once. And we're going to go start adventuring mode. This says start with 2 extra adventures. So we normally have 1. We have 2 extra. And now we get 1 more from the upgrade. So we should have 4. Yep, 4. I'm going to go back to this. We're going to do another upgrade for that. Let's just max it out. So now it's level 4. And we start with 3. So we're going to have 7. Yep. And then let's go and try on a different mode. We should start with 5. Yep. Nice. Cool. Cool. So this is the last one we have to do. Start with X random town perks. This should be pretty easy. Yeah, it should be pretty easy. Because it's pretty much just the same thing as the buildings and whatever else. Start with town perks. The only thing that's a little bit confusing about this is we probably need to let the player know which town perks we gave them randomly. I had code for this from a while ago. All right, so what's this? Start with town perks. Start with town perks. Num town perks. What do we say this is going to be? Goes from by 2s up to 10. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This is going to be num town perks.count. Looks good. Great. All right, so this is going to be grant starting town perks. Get level, num perks equals num town perks. For each of these, go through and get a list of ability IDs. Available town perks. Cool town perk choice generator. This is going to be get available, get eligible. Oh, I don't want to pick generated abilities for this because they're going to be really bad. And what else does it take in? The perk choice tracker. Why? Doesn't that? Oh, I guess that's why. Huh. Why did the other ones not need that? Because they just need it from the town? Okay. Well, I don't know where this comes from. Is it there? It's there. Now, what's the problem with this? This returns a hash set. That's unusual. Cannot implicitly convert type player ability to ability ID. player ability. Why are these player abilities? And not, oh, because they're generated. Oh. Fine. Figure out if random town perks should include the generated stuff. It'll always be as weak as possible, which feels bad. Yeah, I'm leaning toward not generating those. All right, so now we get a random player ability. This needs to be turned into a list. To list.sample. So this comes from link. And then we do town perks panel.force grant. New town perk choice. What else is taken? An ability? Random town perk. All right, so this is num town perks. What do we call this? Nepotism. I'm not actually going to call it that. Start each run with a random number of town perks. What do we call this? A leg up. Great. Okay, so we're going to grant these two starting town perks. Is it not called that? It's called start with town perks. Grant starting town perks, meta perks this. Maybe you won't suck now. That's all of the upgrades though. Maybe your town will actually make some money this time around. Oh, and then I got to put it in the meta perks tree. Forgot that. Then we just need to balance the costs and probably advertise which ones you got to the player. They will show up in the perks tab. So let's say I get this upgrade. I'll start with 10 town perks. And if we click this, and now I click the perks tab. Wait a second, what? 4 battle perks? Okay, that's a little crazy. Expanded weapon shop, expanded armor shop, food critic, different adventure limits. That's a 5% chance of even showing up. Stocking frenzy got level 1. This got level 1. This is max. This got level 1. This got level 1. Is that 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. All right, let's try it again. I got nothing that time. Oh, I got nothing that time because of a different reason. I got to click this again. It doesn't actually save until you click save somewhere. Yeah, there we got level 2 of something. So now we should only have 9 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Okay, this is working, but it's generating abilities. I think I don't want it to be able to generate them, which would mean that town perk generator would need a way of not adding in these or of knowing which ones are generated. Oh, I could just do that over here. What am I thinking? Town perks. Yeah, so we want to trim out all the ones that are generated where ability is not generated ability. There we go. And I'll write a comment for this. Don't keep generated abilities because they would be generated with weak parameters. I don't even think this is correct. It generated with +4 for power leveling. It shouldn't start at 4, right? Oh, it's based on how many adventures you have. I guess it should then. Yeah, because I started with 7. And 7 divided by 2 is 3.5, rounded up to 4. Okay. Then, yeah, I was right about this. So this is fine, except for this is done in the wrong place. It should be done up here. Where? And to list. And now this is a list. And then this comment goes up here. And then this goes away down to that. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. All right, cool. So start with that, and we probably need to let the player know which ones we gave them, figure out if they should include that. They shouldn't include generated abilities. Probably need to let the player know which town perks we gave them, make sure the source of the constraints. I did that already. All right, so letting them know this used to let them know. There's some like seed perks thing. Yeah, how did this work? Actually, I just want to blame this. I want to figure out where that came in. It was add challenge mode. Okay, so that's where we're gonna find this. Like I said, I hate the search for this. I think it is so frustrating. Because there's a search thing here, but it doesn't really do what I want. Let's try it again, I guess. Let's just paste in this. It can't find it at all. Wait, what? Maybe it wasn't called this back then? Something tells me, though, it probably was. And this just isn't going to find this way. There. Yep, it is there. Yeah, so I don't know how you're supposed to search for this. Because this is terrible. All right, seed perks. So this is what this function used to do. Let's take a look at it in here. Abilities granted. We had some number of perks. We would get it from the eligible perks. Grant ability. Oh, interesting. There's force grant abilities. We didn't need to do things this way. This could have been simpler. I'm glad I looked at that. And don't we even call this over here somewhere? Farming constraint. Yeah, force grant ability at specific level. Isn't there also just force grant ability? There is. And it takes in a list. And we can just have the list show multiple times. But that's actually not as good as what I'm doing already, I guess. Get player ability granted. I'll change this a little bit. This works with an ID. I guess it's not really that much better, is it? Where does this even come from? Farming challenge constraint. Force grant perk. Force grant ability at specific level. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. Make a new town perk choice. I think I want to call the function we already have. I'm just not super happy about this. So it's force grant abilities, and then we get the random town perk.id and get rid of that and make this into a list and delete the comma and then get rid of this. That'll work probably. Anyway, let's keep looking at this code. So we do all this stuff and we keep track of which ones we gave you. And that's inside of a hash set. So let's put that over here. So that's going to go like this. And then abilities granted dot add the ID. And then at the end of all of this, we give you a message and then create a thing with it. Player abilities dot get ability or default. This comes from the town, right? And then town dot create with color dot white. Okay, that might work. It probably will work. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to click this. All right, it's maxed out, so we just start, and it should show something over here. Granted these random perks. Hardworking adventurers, farming frenzy, blah, blah, blah. And they all show up over here. Nice, yeah. So this is the only kind of problem, is that it's granting any 10. So you could have 10 items showing like you have here. It could also be that it grants 2 of the same one or 3 of the same one, but that's rare, just based on how probability works. So like here we got customer speed level 2. We run it again. We should eventually see a level 3 show up, but yeah, I think it's going to take forever. So this is kind of a lot to look through. It does say you can find more info about these in the perks tab. And I think it's nice to see something here, but it almost makes me wonder, should we just limit how many of these you can get? So instead of this, cap it at 10. We could just cap it at 5. It's really not that much of a leg up though. Getting 5 random perks. Alternatively, what we could do is we could say start with some number of town perks maxed out. Now that would be powerful. Start with X random town perks maxed out. And then we could say X is capped at 5. Because if you got the most powerful perks, that could give you like 20 levels of stuff. Maybe that's not a good idea, actually. No, that's probably not a good idea. Because yeah, I guess the variance would be a difference between 5 to 20. And it's how lucky did you get at the beginning of a run. Let's just keep it how it is now. Yeah, let's keep it how it is now. Okay, well, all that stuff's been coded. Did it say that's not necessary? That's stale. Let the player know, do some initial balancing. Okay, so cost. How are we going to balance the cost? Every time you win a challenge, you get somewhere from 9 to 15 points, but it's got to be one of these 4 options. So minimally, you get 9 points. Maximally, you get 15 points. And we have now 6 upgrades. And they are these. If I refund these. Actually, if I refund these and then start another match, right? I won't get any town perks. Oh yeah, that's a problem. Granted these random perks. Granted these random perks. I need to cut this out. So if, where's granted? Abilities granted dot count equals 0 return. Cool. Don't grant generated abilities. Which is almost a detriment to the player. Okay, let's run this. Refund, start. So now no notification should show up. Good. We don't have any perks. We don't have, well, we had the extra adventures because of the mode that we're playing. And then, yeah, we can just build some stuff. Cool. What was I doing though? Oh yeah, the cost. So let's go back and look at those. We have 7 levels, 7, 7, 3, 4, 5. I wonder, we could think about this in a couple different ways. We could think about this in terms of which ones are saving you the most money or giving you more power. Which ones will players probably want? Like if you just start with more customers and workers, I think you'll beat everything very easily. Also, this is nuts. Why did I let you go up to 14? I think I want to stop that. Starting workers. Yeah, I think getting like 10 extra workers is fine. Also, doesn't this mean that you can get like a boatload of workers if you're playing on industry mode? Huh, kind of want to try that. Because I think it's going to be nuts. Let's quit this. Let's go to CM save. I don't have that open. Highest difficulty unlocked, 20. All right, so there are 2 modes in particular. There's industry mode where you start with a bunch of workers and popularity where you start with a bunch of customers. So if I just get, I can't afford it all. All right, well, anyway, we got all the workers. So now I go back to here and we go to industry and it says start with many extra workers, but I also have an extra 10 on top of the many extra. So I've just got it down swarming with workers. Oh, man. All right, so what if we just spawn a bunch of items in? Yeah. They just take them all immediately. Oh, that's fun for some people. And then let's try another one. Actually, let's hit continue and finish this so we get some more perk points too. Okay, now we're going to change the upgrades to these and then go to popularity mode. And now we should have like 1 million customers in town, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Something like that. That one's already been there. I think it's like 25 customers. So now as soon as you put an item in a shop, it's going to get purchased. Yep. Yeah, this trivializes the game. And maybe we should just say somewhere that, hey, you're probably going to make the game unfun for yourself. I don't know. Even something like that. I don't know. All of these are pretty powerful. And if they're all powerful, then how do you figure out a cost for any of them? What we could do is we could say like level 1 costs maybe 4 points, level 2 costs 8 points, level 3 is like 14, 25, and then 35 or something. Because remember, at most you can get 15 points from a run. So getting this would take you 2 1/3 runs. And runs on average probably take you 15 to 25 minutes. So it's probably about 40 minutes it's taking you to get 1 level. But you don't really need that level. And some people just like grinding and stuff. And I do think having more stuff to unlock is good. So yeah, the question is, you finished your first run, you got 9 points. There should be something you can buy for at most 9 points. I guess starting with random town perks is not that interesting. And I want the lower levels of these to be attainable too. Okay, how about this? Let's start filling in some points. We got to start somewhere. So more workers. Let's start that at 10. I like that. And more customers. Let's start that at 10. These are both really powerful. Pre-built town. This saves you 25 gold, but makes it so that your perks have more value too. Maybe we also start that at 10. I don't know. Maybe just everything should cost 10. Adventurers, I feel like that should be more expensive. The random town perks. We could have the first one of these be 9 so that you're guaranteed to be able to afford something. And then what about battle ready? This one's not as interesting, at least not when you only have 2 perks. Maybe we start that at 5. Okay, so first levels I'm pretty happy with. But now we have a bunch of other levels. So I think this should go up by some amount. Maybe 7, 9. Let's just type in all the odd numbers from 5. How many do we need? 7 of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. That one's done. More starting workers, you have 5 levels. But this is pretty crazy, I'd say. So let's do that. More starting customers has 7 levels. This is also kind of crazy. Maybe we also do that. Then pre-built town. I'm going to do like 10, 30, 50. Adventuring party. Maybe it's just always 20 to get another adventurer to start with. Yeah. And more starting town perks. Maybe this one's always 9. All right, so let's see what this feels like. Well, I'm not really doing the balance testing yet, but I will be probably tomorrow even. So I have 240 points, which would have meant that I would have played 16 gold medal runs, which would already mean I'm on probably challenge number 17 at that point or something. So like, it's probably toward the end of the game. So what can I buy? If I just care about workers, I could get all of the workers and a bunch of customers. If I care about always starting with a lot of adventures and buildings, yeah, I can get a lot of that stuff too. So maybe this is not a great example. Maybe we should consider what happens when you only have like 40 points. What does that feel like? Let's load up the save file and perk points. We'll set this to 40. Now, I did not change the number of perk points I have. That's okay, because when I hit refund, it's going to set me back to 40. So anyway, this is what it's like to have 40 points. What can we afford? We can get a new worker, customer. We can start with another adventurer, or a worker, customer, a building, and some town perks. And that's after doing, well, I guess that's not even a number that you would get, really, right? You get like 45. Let's say I only had 15. What would I put them in? I probably would want to start more workers and then get battle ready. And if I had 40, I don't care about pre-built town. I don't think it's very good. At least me personally. I think some people would want that. Hey, Lena. Thanks for the raid. Welcome in, everybody. I've got my face cam off because it's broken or something. It's been blurry lately. But I hope the stream is good. I know Lena's usually not here after raiding, but if you are, I hope you have a good time. Oh, wait, you are here. Stream's good, thanks. Okay, awesome. Yeah. Yeah, how's getting ready for launch going? I'm sure you're asked this all the time, so feel free to just ignore me. Got a raid ready? Yeah, all right, take care. Thank you for the raid. Yeah, so welcome, Lana viewers. We've been working on Skeleseller for the last almost 2 years now at this point. It's been about 1.5 years, actually. And this newest thing that we've been working on is called Bone Mode. And Bone is kind of silly. It stands for Business Optimization via New Expansions. So instead of playing through the game and kind of picking every option you want normally, this one presents them to you randomly in a roguelike option. So you might not get the upgrades you want, and you can re-roll and you can find different ones, and there's some cool ones in here too. 1 or more days from releasing it, so it's not going to be today. Got it, confirmed. Everything's been a bit of a blur. It certainly was yesterday here. You got a lot of blur jokes and ghost jokes and bone jokes. Anyway, so we've been working on this new mode, and we've got a lot of persistent upgrades, or at least we had a lot more, and I consolidated them down to just these. We don't have icons for some of these, which is why the smiley faces show. And then as you complete runs, you can unlock even more perks that show up in the middle of a run. So I think this is all starting to come together. There's been a lot of player feedback, and if anyone wants to try this out, for one, there's a demo that you can play on Steam. But then if you want to play this specific mode, you'd have to join the playtest. And I am looking for more playtesters. I'm hoping that this Friday should be a new launch, and it'll have all this stuff that you're seeing here, still with no icons. These will still look like they're just unpolished. But the actual challenges themselves, or I guess scenarios now is what we're calling them, the scenarios should be pretty fun, and they should just get kind of more and more broken as you play more of them. So I'm really looking forward to that. But today's been going really well so far. I did this. Yeah, this is a nice note to keep in mind, but we're not doing anything about this. So this is pretty much done. Add in the higher level meta perks again. Maybe these should just be unlocked too. What? Oh, yeah. Raise max level of faster hunger from 2 to 4. Oh, interesting. All right, well, let's check this in so far. How's everyone's day going? Are y'all doing well? Are you having a good time? Is this week a good week? Is there any more way you could think positively and make it a better week? This is looking pretty good. Yeah, this is all pretty straightforward. Okay. Revamp meta perks. There are now the 6 proper upgrades that you should have. I also came up with some costs for them, although I don't know how balanced they'll feel. All right, this is a good question. I don't know how we should do this exactly. There used to be, as I just mentioned, there used to be a bunch of meta perks in here. And some of them were, well, there were different classes of them. There was one that was just like grant a perk at the start of the run. There were some that said allow for a perk to get to a higher level. And then some other categories. But this one in particular, I wonder how we should expose this. It could be something that's unlocked. And I think I like that idea the best. In which case we change this to take in some other ability IDs. So we'd have something, I don't even know what it's called. Level, yeah, these higher level, whatever. So that's 1, That's another, and that's the last one. So this is how we could do this, and then we just need tooltips for them. So if I put these at the beginning, for example, we can test this out much more easily. And it's probably going to show a tooltip that just says something like, this tooltip hasn't been filled in. Because I never planned on having those there. Yeah, no tooltip defined. But it's very easy to fill those in. So what is this? Increased well water. All right. I said very easy to fill this in. And I guess technically it is still very easy, but there's one thing that makes this a little bit harder. So where's the... Oh, this isn't the right file. Player ability is what I want. Here it is. Okay, so in any of these, I guess we could have meta perk granting higher level of perk. We could put this in here. I can just put this like that and override this. And say allows a higher level of... It's pretty much going to be this. In fact, I should just type this in this description for unlocked perk. Increases the maximum level of ability display name that will be offered to you during a run from this to this. Oh, this is already fine. You know what? Let's just use the description then. And can we even just do this? Can't I just say, why do we need the abilities component? Why is that even there? Meta perks. Oh, that's not going to be a thing anymore. Oh, no. Oh, no. I guess we do this. Will that work? Create a new ability component. That's the perk that we want to grant. Then get the ability. Why do we get the ability? So that we can get its tooltip. And then change the max levels and stuff. Okay, yeah, let's try this out. This might work. Increase well water max level. Increases the maximum level of well water that will be offered to you during a run from 2 to 4. And then it shows you what well water does, but it does not show you the increased levels. How do we get it to show you the increased levels? By granting you the meta perk before doing that? Oh, God. All right. So we pretty much need the exact function that we had here. But that the abilities component is what? Ignored? Oh, wait, it is completely ignored. Oh, then we can just call this. We can just pass this in with null. I mean, maybe we should make a new one. New. And do that. Okay, so this will work, except that getting the perk won't actually work. We need to make sure these are functional. We won't have the meta perk. Yeah. We need these special abilities to be in meta perks, not in the player abilities. I think, because I think this all needs to be statically accessed because of how we get the max level of something. Or we need to refactor a whole bunch of code. And I don't want to do a major refactoring. So, all right, here it is. All right, good. So now we can see the increased levels here. So you could tell what this will do. That's good. But then it won't actually show us the higher levels of these things. So let's go test this out. We'll go into town generator and we'll change. Do I have any perks here? I do. I need to refund those. Increased well water. Well water. What's that called? Faster crop? Faster. What is it called? Crop growth speed. Okay, so I want that. And then what else is there? Customer speed and increased appetite. Customer speed and increased appetite. All right, so those are the ones I want. We're going to go restart this. I going to do this? Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think this is going to work at first, just to be clear. Like I'm about to test this and we're going to see levels that are lower than 4, which means it will not be working. If I click refund, I click this, and now we buy a town perk, and I'm guessing it's just going to show like 3 levels for things, right? Oh, that's really bad. Oh, that's especially bad. Oh man. Okay. Well, yeah, so it's broken in 2 ways. We are giving you a perk. All right, how do I fix this? We say apply meta perks. So this goes through all of your meta perks that you have. But this isn't considered a meta perk. It's considered an unlockable perk. Hey, Strawn. I think Lana had to run, so I don't think she probably saw your message. Challenge progress. Pool perks. This, wherever this is being done, this needs to be changed. Oh, man. Yeah, this needs to be changed. All right, well, there are 2 problems, right? One is this. So to do, we only want regular town perks to show up here. And then there's another color of this, which is presumably also wrong. No, this is fine. We grant these to you at the beginning of a run. How do we do that? Huh. I don't know how we do that. No, we don't grant them to you at the beginning of the run. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. I see what's happening. So problem number 1 is this to-do item. We only need regular town perks to show up here. And then problem number 2 is that we needed to add to your meta perks. So we need to be able to separate which ones are meta perks and which ones aren't. I mean, I think that should be easy enough. Well, this is called in 2 places. I guess this is all of the perks. So we need another function that's like enumerable ability ID. So get pool town perks. This is just return this. Oh, there's no way to tell, is there? There is no way to tell. We'd have to construct the ability to be able to figure out whether it's this special type. Yeah. All right, well, that's fine. We can do that. So ability ID, get the ability, base ability equals base ability dot create. Where does create exist? Where did I just look at that? Oh, it's in all abilities. Okay. So there's the ability, and now we need to return if the ability is specifically a player ability. I don't think that's going to work. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. It's more like is not meta perk higher max level. And then we change that to do item that we have. Oh man. All right. Well, that's a mess. And then we need a set of meta perks. Yeah, this is kind of a mess. There's got to be a better way to detect these. So now we'd have another one of these. It says like get pool meta perks. And that's just the opposite of this. Maybe the better way of doing this is get this dot, what is the thing that I want? Intersect. Get pool town perks. It's all the ones that aren't town perks. Is that what I want? Produces the set intersection of two sequences by using the default equality comparer. No, wait. That's... No, what's the opposite of union? Oh, man. Accept? Yeah, accept. Okay, that's not bad. And these need to be given to you at the beginning of a run. So apply meta perks. We get the meta perks. There's meta perk granting adventure ability. So I guess we need to add all of these. For each ability ID, meta perk ID in challenge mode, progress, get meta perks. So now we add them to here, meta perks dot add ability. That's not a thing. Well, modify ability level. Okay, I think that's it. I think we did it. I'm going to need to write a lot of comments for this. This is not going to be obvious in the future. So we start a run. We've got nothing special here, but we do have these things unlocked. So I'm going to start scenario and get a town perk. Nice, nice, and nice. Okay, that proves that everything is working here. So let's get one of these. Let's give ourselves a ton of money. Sure. Yeah, let's get these ones that only have a single level just out of the pool. There, they should all be gone. Yeah. So now I want to get well water maxed out completely. And then customer speed maxed out. Let's actually look at this. How high does that get to? Oh, I thought that said 400% for customer speed. Okay, I want to see customers fly around the map. So we're going to make them go even faster than this, which is one tick faster, which is 150%. And that's without having the enchanter. If we got the enchanter, we could make them go even faster. And then this spell can be upgraded too to make them go even faster than that. So then if we add in a bunch of customers, you'll just see them like, you'll see them zipping around town. Like, bye, 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 bye. There's nothing for them to buy. And then what other perks do we have here? There was, oh, increased appetite. We can get that up to 400%. So the garbage slime basically never, it always wants food. This is running at normal speed. This is like cruising up toward the top. So if we give it food, actually, we don't even need to give it food, right? We could just give it the warehouse and then put a bunch of items in the warehouse. And then once it hits max hunger, it's just going to eat those things. Why is it not eating? What? Why isn't it eating? Do I? Oh, I think I know why. Oh my God, this is really, really particular. Okay, so the reason why it's not eating is because we only have 10 of these perks unlocked, and I just rearranged them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the one that makes it eat from the warehouse is number 15 or whatever that is. And I don't have this one. So I think everything's working. Wow. All right. Well, then I guess let's go check that in. Maybe this should say unlock town perks. Yeah, I kind of want to change that. get unlocked perks. Except for put an E in there. Then this should say get unlocked town perks. And this should say get unlocked meta perks. These are all of the perks that you've unlocked by completing enough runs. These are a subset of get unlocked perks that are pickable as town perks. Hey, shot. Split keyboard arrived. It's hard to type. Need to learn to type again. Yeah. It shouldn't take you too long for just English, but as I kind of mentioned before, coding is going to be a lot harder on a special keyboard. Do you like the feel of it? Do you like the look of it? Like, do you think you'll be happy even if it's tough right now? That should not be pickable as town perks, but need to get applied as your meta perks. Yeah. Okay, so this looks good. That's fine. That's fine. This is just stuff I got to fix. That's got to go in a different order too. This needs a comment. But other than that, I think we're pretty good. Hey, Scoreline, it's going well. It's been going really well. We've made a lot of progress in really the last 2 months. And probably even before that too. But I feel like I've been going, I don't know, full force on Skeleseller in the last couple of months. And challenge mode is now called bone mode. It's looking nice. It's really cool, but the difficulty is a bit stressful. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, give it a few days and you'll get a lot better at it. So the only thing I need is a comment here. There are some perks you unlock by doing runs that need to get slotted in as meta perks. These are the perks you unlock by doing runs. There. I said there and typed these, but I wanted these anyway. All right, so now we just got to fix up the last remaining things here. The generator should be set back to normal. In fact, none of this should have changed, right? I didn't actually do anything, did I? No, I think I can just delete this. Delete, delete, delete. And delete. Cool. And then this, we need to just figure out a better order for this. So I think increased appetite is nuts and should be toward the bottom. Higher level of customer speed. Actually, this isn't even that great of a perk. So maybe this goes toward the beginning. And higher crop growth speed is also kind of crazy. I'm going to put that sort of in the middle there. But the reason I say this isn't that good is because if you have 1,000 customers, they could all be moving like snails and you'd probably still be happy. But when you could only have 5 customers, then getting them to move faster is actually pretty good. The problem is you won't be able to, once this is in the pool, it's in the pool. It's now diluted your other perk choices. But only slightly. And I guess you might have opted not to pick it anyway. So customer speed always has a minimum max level, which is kind of weird to say. A max level of like 3 by default. And this perk raises that to 5. So if you didn't want to pick this when it only had 3 max levels, you could have chosen it anyway and then removed it from the pool. But now to remove it from the pool, you need to spend another 2 points on it. Anyway, it's, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. But it's, yeah, I don't know. Okay, so add more unlockable perks. Nothing indicates to you that you've unlocked these things, right? I don't think anything does. When you beat a run, it says upgrade points earned. And you go to title screen, and unless you click upgrades, this isn't even an upgrade. Complete bone mode runs to unlock town perks that can show up in future runs. Yeah, we now have 15 of these. So at 2 per time, you now need to finish 8 runs just to get this final thing. Or well, the final thing would be somewhere else because I only have 12 of these. Huh, I wonder if we should grant 3 at a time. And you get them all after 5 runs. No, I think 2 at a time is pretty good. Unless we have like 30 or 40 of them eventually. I added all of the max level increasing meta perks as unlockable perks. However, since these are not supposed to be pickable when buying a town perk, we needed some special logic. Yeah. Well. How's the workout? Dark keyboard light is something pleasant. Well, except for this is permanently lit up now. I've mentioned this before, but I've broken the LEDs on this keyboard. So they work, but they don't turn on and off at the right times. But on the left half, it works correctly. So if I just poke at random keys here, they'll light up properly. If I change layers, they'll light up differently. Pretty great. Nice. Glad to hear it. Also, every once in a while, you'll see like one key light up over here, like this one. Those are my modifier keys. So right now, Shift is held. So if I press A on my keyboard, it's now a capitalized A. But now Shift is not held. If I press A on my keyboard, it's a lowercase a. So yeah, if you ever see me type out modifiers like that, that's how that works. All right, what time is it? 11:04. I think this has been pretty good progress. Yeah, we've gotten a lot done. Let me copy this in the archive to do. And just delete all these things. Wow, this is a very manageable to-do list. Look at that. Fix 2 bugs, clean up a thing, balance, then release. This is not the totality of it, though. There are some other things I want to fix up too. And they're on this list, which I got to organize today. This is a mess. I kind of want to play and see what it feels like, but I think we'll get to that tomorrow. I think tomorrow morning is going to be work on a lot of the bugs, work on some of the polish stuff, and then do some balance testing. Let me read this again. What do we have here? Rebrand challenge mode, that's done. Make buildings cost less, that's done. Allow for unlocking new perks is done, and this is done too now, yeah. Yeah, so we've already finished all these things, and it took like a day and a half. And half of that day and a half was spent doing design, so it really only took a day. Yeah, this is pretty solid. And just in time for October. Finished the basic changes from the design yesterday. I made progress much faster than I expected. All right, well, I know I mentioned this earlier, but Skeleseller is playable right now. The demo's been out for a very long time. It's over here on this page. Oh, hey, we got another review. Nice. I should write myself a note to look at that review. Look at the 61st review on Steam. Anyway, the demo's been playable for some time now. But this playtest version is what I've been working on. And in order to join it, you need to follow the instructions in that document if you want to. But typically, also, you need to play the demo. So the demo is maybe about 2 hours long. It's fun. I think people generally like it. It's just, it's hard to get people to play test because they first need to go through the demo and then have it fresh enough in their minds to be able to understand the bone mode that we added. But yeah, I'm hoping to have this out this week. And if feedback is pretty good, I don't think there's going to be zero work, but I'm hoping that feedback isn't like, yep, it's just unfun. It's going in the wrong direction. I'm hoping it's more and more like, okay, I'm starting to get it. I see what's going on here. I want to play some more. We have this metrics server. And if I connect to this again and search for this. Oh, wow. Wait, what? Is that? Hang on a second. That can't be right. My last time I did this, there were 11 people who played 57 runs, and now there's 18 people who played 118. No. Oh, I see. Oh, no, this is not with the right. I need to search with the timestamp on it. I'm like, that's impossible. Yeah, it's been one more run has been played. So to me, this means that it means one of a couple of things. One is that the mode was, I guess, not fun enough already where people didn't want to just keep playing it. Or two, that enough of these people who played are watching the stream and are generally plugged into like, well, he's going to make more changes, so why should I keep playing this file if he already knows what he's working on? And with the number of people who played 11, I mean, it's entirely possible that half of those people have watched the stream and know about this. So I'm not super concerned yet. But at some point, imagine if the game were just out. And I don't plan on having metrics at that point. But if I did, I'd hopefully be able to search through this and be like, oh my God, 1,100 people played. But if they're only playing, let's say, one run each, then that does kind of represent a problem. So yeah, at some point with the general public, this is going to matter. What happened here? Did I close this? Did I? How do I even do that? Why don't you want metrics when the game is out? Because I think I need to get people's consent for that then, and I don't think people would actually provide it. Like, it'd probably be stuck in a menu somewhere of like, yes, I agree to have my anonymous data shared. Maybe I don't need consent for completely anonymous data. I don't know. But for right now, I'm not asking for consent because it's just a playtest. And in order to sign up for the playtest, I have to specifically send you a key. So I'm not concerned about it for now. And the only place it says this in the game right now is in the new run screen. I'll show it quickly. But yeah, the data is it's completely anonymous. Like, I have no way of knowing who's who. Where is it? Here, right here. Note to playtesters, aggregated metrics with no personal info are collected. Just for the playtest. So I plan on deleting this stuff and just gutting it all. And I won't have data on what people are picking. Like, maybe we could keep it. I guess another thing is that it's just a server that logs a JSON file to disk. So like, anyone could just send in whatever JSON data they want. And for the playtest, it doesn't really matter because no one's going to do that. But once it's outside of these people that I had to DM, it might be abused. Anyway, I'll have to think about that later. It's not that hard to just add it in later too. All right, I think that's it for today's stream. I'm going to go raid somebody. I only wanted to stream in the morning today, and I think it is morning stream accomplished. So let us go raid. Is Tim online? Because Tim's doing his game thing tomorrow, I think. Let's raid Oik. Oik raided me yesterday. And I don't know if I've raided him. He's working on the game jam. Jern jam. I see what the game is. You know it. That's how this is going to work from here on out. All right, well, thank you all for watching. I'll try to fix my camera today. It's kind of a shame that it's just not working. Although it's much easier for me to not have bright lights on me or have to pay attention to what's going on. All right, well, like I said, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here, and I will see you all later.